Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the news here on Dbs Television. With me, Mange Venasius Fola. We begin the news in Yaoundé, where the Cameroon's second Senate shall begin meeting in Yaoundé today. Although most of those who constituted the first Senate have either been re-elected or have been reappointed, there are, however, some newcomers into the House. Philip Sote, in the following report, paints a picture of how the second Senate looks like. His report.
It will be an almost old brand new Senate, one in which over 80% of those who constituted the old Senate are going back. Noticeable changes are the elected CPDM senators from the West and Adamawa regions retrieved from the SDF, and the SDF elected senators from the Northwest region formerly controlled by the CPDM. The SDF thus drops from 14 to 7 elected senators and none appointed, while the CPDM moves from 56 to 63 elected senators with 24 appointed. The obese majority of the ruling party thus continue to gain roots in the country's democratic process at all levels. Meanwhile, the NUDP, a long-standing political ally of the ruling party, shifts from 1 senator to 2, while the newcomer in the House is the UPC with 1 appointed senator from the Southwest region, precisely from the Bialem. Other ruling party allies with 1 representative are the MDR, the Cameroon National Salvation Front, the National Alliance for Democracy and Progress. In all, 7 political parties as against 6 in the Pioneer Senate, but the numerical strength of the CPDM remains crushing as the opposition dwindles to just 13, even less than the 14 that the SDF alone used to have in the first Senate. What more, besides the 7 SDF elected senators, the other 6 are taking up seats in the House thanks to appointment. Von Victor Mokete, now at 100, remains undisputably the oldest member of the House, while Abui Marlis at 44 is the youngest. And that is Cameroon's second Senate new look, but with a strong concentration of old faces.
Still in Yaoundé, the adequate frequency band allocation to the different actors in the telecommunication spectrum of Cameroon has come under review in Yaoundé. This was during the 7th ordinary session of the Interministerial Board. Bango Francis is our man on that beat from Yaoundé.
It was under the chair of Post and Telecommunication Minister Mined Libom Lilikeng that the 7th extraordinary session of the Interministerial Board for Frequency Band Allocation held this Monday in Yaoundé. This session bent down on evaluating the implementation of the board's resolutions and instructions with regards to the cleanup of the radio spectrum. The participants thus formulated measures to ensure that the frequency bands allocated to mobile telephony operators are free from harmful interference. They equally saw into it that the actors of the cable television sector continued running their businesses hitch-free, and that broadcast operators transport their signals without infringing on the regulations in force. Focus during the 7th extraordinary session of SIABAF also centered on the feedback from the ad hoc committee charged with the cleanup of the Mount Bankolo radio spectrum site in Yaoundé, which harbors a dense network of frequencies.
Okay, thank you very much. The session of the day is, the main objective is to clean the position of operators on frequency. Because since 2015, ITU, the International Organization of Telecommunication, has decided that the frequencies of 700 MHz and 800 MHz are only for mobile operators. But before this period, the operators of audiovisual were there. So this create bad quality of service. So today we are going to work so that we be sure that each operator is at the correct place in those frequencies, because the frequencies are very important for the quality of service.
This close attention to frequency appeasement further demonstrate government's keen interest in providing the best quality of service for individuals and businesses in every nook and cranny of the national territory.
Fish vendors at the Yupe Fish Market here in Douala say they are not happy with the new market site that has been given them by the Douala City Council. They were relocated last week so that the old site could be developed. Ate Bonaventure visited the site yesterday and paints the ambience that reigns there in this report.
We don't deny, we don't buy groceries. Groceries do the plenty, this place is small from them.
Old habits die hard, they say. Reason why fish vendors at the Yupwe Fish Market are still to bear with the fact that they will hence be working in a new environment. A new market that is fenced different from their usual roadside installations that were easily accessible.
So everything here is in disorder. Last time we were there at the beach, so we came back here on Tuesday. We came here, everything changed. We don't walk freely here. Every place is tight.
This new site was chosen by the government delegate to the Douala City Council in collaboration with officials of the Ministry of Livestock, Fisheries and Animal Industries in order to carry out developmental projects that fall within the roadmap of the City Council. A good number of vendors are complaining of lack of adequate space and scarcity of customers.
If you are in your house, when you change from the old house to the new house, you have difficulties because we've lost so many things. Now the position that they have put in us is nice, but we've lost some of our customers because they are feeling difficulties to trace out where the site of the market is.
The site has two main compartments, that is, one for fresh fish and other aquatic products, and the other for smoked fish. And the president of the Traders Union, Njel Jackie, and other traders who have accepted the new location believe that things will get better if the market is developed.
Begging the authority is for them to make a track to indicate where the new market is situated.
By press time, a group of traders could be seen holding a meeting to plan for a strike action against the relocation, which local officials say is for their own good.
We hope these traders recognize that there can be no development without destruction. We talk some other story. Fresh tomatoes, a highly consumed local commodity, have become so scarce, thereby leading to an increase in its prices. The scarcity has been blamed on the reopening of Cameroon's borders with Nigeria and Gabon. Student journalist Seka Zubairatu has a full story on that.
Few months ago, Cameroonians got the opportunity to enjoy what it takes to buy tomatoes at a very cheap price, varying from 1,500 to 2,000 per basket. Today, the story is no longer the same.
Today the price has dropped down compared to last week, because the other we were paying, the lowest price is 9,995 and then up to 13,515. So today like this, you can have a basket for 6,500 and then upwards. And there are some that are more than less than 6,500, which are not good. The good ones are from 6,500 upwards.
We are in Marché Sandaga in Douala, one municipality. The president of the market explains some reasons of the sudden rise in price of tomatoes.
Tomato is expensive in market because we are brothers them. With them they come for Nigeria, Guinea Equatorial and Gabon. When them reach for Cameroon, them they go inside bush for go follow farmer them, and them they buy tomato for fine price.
He equally says the change in the prices of tomatoes is periodical.
Time when them don't buy tomato, them go for them country, them get like a 1 or 2 months, where them no go enter, so tomato go cheap.
According to these retailers, commonly known as buy-am-sell-ams, it is high time for them to make more profit.
At times that the price is down, you cannot even have that money, that gain that time. Even 1.5, you can be happy because, like now, like the time that is the price is down, you cannot even have 1.5. That is your gain, because many people, those that are eating, they will prefer to come and buy here and go and store it. So when it's like that, is the price, the better the price should just remain a moderate price that each and everyone can pay.
There are prospects that the price will increase in the days ahead, and city dwellers have been advised to buy the commodity now. Accusing fingers are pointing at the exportation to neighboring countries.
Housewives and by extension, family heads are actually going through tough times. The ongoing agricultural trade fair, SIAD, taking place in Douala, is playing the role of bringing to limelight agricultural treasures that are unknown to many. The following paper takes us to discover the rearing of fish out of the ordinary. We have details in this report. Fish farming or pisciculture involves raising fish in tanks or enclosures, usually for food. This is the principal form of aquaculture that has been the main activity of Agro World Group, a non-governmental organization that specializes in the raising of tilapia, catfish and mudfish. According to this specialist, this is the easiest way of rearing fish, especially for private consumption. It is not done like the conventional fish rearing in a fish pond, but it is being carried out in enclosures. It does not require much space and the fish is ready within 5 months. Being carried out artificially, the difficulty which is encountered is that of nutrition, since everything has to be imported, unlike raising fish in a pond. Participating in the 2018 SIAT is an opportunity to sensitize especially youths who at times may not want to engage in agriculture but could settle on fish rearing. Producers say it is an activity that yields enough profit if the feeding regulation is respected. And this is essentially the goal of this ongoing agricultural trade fair, SIAT, to unveil the agricultural riches of Cameroon to the world. We talk some educational news. Courses offered at the National School of Public Administration will now be dispensed in Yaoundé, Cameroon. The partnership agreement between ENAP Canada and IFTICSUP, the institution to harbor the courses in the country, took place yesterday. The ceremony was presided at by the Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reform, Joseph Lay. Here is an excerpt of the minister as prepared by Bango Francis in Yaoundé.
We have a similar structure. We have ENAM here in Cameroon, and ENAM can also work in partnership with ENAP. You see, it's not bad to do what you do in your own area, but to also be opened on the international scene to know what they are doing there and how you can collaborate. That's why the head of state said we should encourage this initiative. Even if it's a private initiative, it will enable Cameroonians, civil servants, to strengthen their capacities. That's why we came to see what is being done and to encourage it.
And over in the South region, the divisional delegation of tourism and leisure from Villa Division in that part of the country have taken up measures to preserve touristic sites in that area. This is the case with a 2-century-old touristic site which still retains its originality and is believed to possess sacred powers in the daily life of the population. We have details in this report. Dom Ebetabok, one of those historic sites in the south region of Cameroon, still preserves its originality. Situated close to the Samba market in the south region, this historic site presents an unbelievable image which can simply be considered a baobab on a rock. This extraordinary touristic site, according to Ndele Paul Richard, a patriarch of this village, is said to have existed for more than 200 years. It is being taken care of by the Ebolova Urban Council, who have opened the area as a relaxation spot for city dwellers and visitors. Villagers believe that the baobab possesses some secret powers that are inherently related to the daily lives of the population. They believe that once the baobab sheds one of its branches, then this is a sign that someone in the community, a personality, is likely going to die. The divisional delegate of tourism from Villa Division, Madame Mireille Zoluman, affirmed that this touristic site receives hundreds of visitors yearly. As such, this site undoubtedly is part of the heritage of the Ministry of Tourism. The ministry therefore has every right and reason to safeguard and preserve this site for posterity. In religious news, the Douala Choir Association of the East Mongo South Presbytery has for the first time attended a come-together that will become their annual rally. Organized under the theme Revival, the ceremony took place at the Presbyterian Church, Yupwe, last Sunday, 22nd of April. Rael Ule Abia was part of that come-together and now reports.
If music be the food of love, play on, give me more to surfeit my soul. So Shakespeare said. And when you sing, the church says it is praying twice. It may not be the main reason why the Douala Choir Association gathered for the first time ever under the cover of an annual rally at Yupwe. For what we know, it is to evangelize, praise the Lord, and revive the spirit. To fortify the reason for being here today, the sermon was centered on revival.
With revival, when people are revived, when people have the spirit of restoration, then they know they are serving God. And so their service to God is by, in that way, also serving the human beings they relate with. So in their revival, once they know they are revived, then the group in which they are, they will keep it together and make it grow.
Made up of 6 groups from different congregations identified with different names, the Douala Choir Association has its origin from the present moderator's initiative.
The brief history about this whole association, it is coming to us with the present right the moderator, who at the time the PS, Proprietary Secretary for East Mongo South Presbytery, saw it need that all choirs singing in Douala in the PCC should come together, and that a choir like Madoe Mangel, which is the mother choir, like we call them today, in this setting of the setting of this space, the pace of this association here, they were paying legends to Macomb, Macomb that was not an organization under the canopy of the PCC. And so on that very memorable day of the 12th of June 2015, I think we finally came together.
Recognized in the East Mongo South Presbytery as the Douala Choir Association, in others it is the Ndola Christo, with the hope that the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon will consider acknowledging them under one name.
The way forward for this association is that we sell it abroad as far as we can go, given that we are under the umbrella of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon. We understand that there are other groups that sing in the Douala language, but they find themselves under an umbrella that is not uniquely PCC. So I'm thankful to God Almighty that in East Mongo South Presbytery, we could start up something for the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon and by Christians of the PCC.
This come together was spiced by an early morning examination, fundraising to help keep the association alive, then the singing competition. It was so thrilling, an exercise that came with some expectations.
If you ask me, I would say if I had my way, I will make it a national association for the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, given that I can assure you that it's only in the East Mongo South Presbytery that we are celebrating today as the Douala Choirs Association of the PCC.
The 2018 edition has gone down history with the rendezvous taken for next year.
And that brings us to the end of the news here on DBS Television. Please do not go away. The next newscast will be coming up in the French language with Ludovic André Malagal. Programs continue after that. It was our pleasure knowing that you decided to begin the day in our company. God bless your day.